In a quiet part of the world, where the forest went on forever and the trees seemed to talk to the wind, lived an old woman named Elara. Her hair was silver, falling softly like moonlight, and her eyes looked like they had seen many sunsets. To those who saw her, she seemed as old as the forest itself. Ilara's home was a small cottage that blended perfectly with nature. Vines grew over its wooden walls, and her garden was full of bright, beautiful flowers. She spent her days caring for the plants, talking gently to the birds, and collecting herbs that she seemed to know everything about. The forest seemed to protect her, and animals often came close as if they trusted her. People in the nearby village said Elara had lived in the forest for many years, maybe even forever. They told stories about her kindness, how she helped the sick and showed lost travelers the way. Some thought she was a wise healer, while others said she was a magical woman who had treated her youth to live in peace with nature. One cool autumn morning, a young girl named Lila went into the forest. She had heard the stories and was both curious and desperate. Her brother was very sick, and the village doctor couldn't help him. Lila hoped the stories about Elara were true and that the old woman could save her brother. The forest was dark and a little scary, with tall trees casting long shadows. But as Lila walked, the air felt different. A path appeared, soft with moss and lit by patches of sunlight. It led her to the cottage, where Elara was waiting, as if she already knew Lila was coming. "Child," Elara said in a voice as soft as leaves rustling, "why have you come to my forest?" Lila's heart was racing. "My brother is very sick," she said. "They say you can heal anyone." Elara's kind eyes looked at her, and she nodded. "Come inside," she said. The cottage was warm and cozy, smelling of herbs and with a fire glowing in the hearth. Elara listened carefully as Lila described her brother's illness. Then, with steady hands, Elara mixed herbs and roots into a remedy, choosing each one carefully. "Take this to your brother," Elara said, giving Lila a small vial. "But remember, the medicine will only work if his heart is strong and his spirit is willing." Lila thanked her, tears in her eyes. As she was leaving, she asked, "Why do you live here all alone?" Elara smiled gently. "I am not alone, child. The forest is my family, and the animals are my friends. Here, I can be myself and live in peace. It is a quiet life, but not a lonely one." Lila went back to the village, the path leading her safely home. She gave her brother the remedy, and in a few days, he started to get better. People in the village heard about Elara's kindness, but they respected her wish for solitude and left small gifts of thanks at the edge of the forest. Years later, Lila, now grown up, returned to the forest to find Elara. But the path to the cottage was gone, and the forest was quiet, holding its secrets. Where the cottage had been, Lila found a single beautiful flower that she had never seen before, as if the forest had taken Elara into itself. From that day on, Lila believed that Elara had become one with the forest, her spirit living on in the trees and the songs of the birds. And so, the story of the kind old woman of the forest lived on, reminding everyone of the power of kindness, peace, and the bond between people and nature.